The six facets of conscientiousness. Can you take a few minutes to ask yourself these questions? Are you more detail oriented or big picture? Do you tend to work hard first before play hard? Do you rarely break promises or show up late? Do you often plan, decide, and like to put stuff on paper? Do you enjoy having a clear schedule rather than going with the flow? If most of these answers are yes, you might be an individual scoring high in the conscientiousness trait. Conscientiousness is a fundamental personality trait of the Big Five personality model. This trait reflects the tendency for an individual to be accountable and reliable, organized and detail oriented. High scorers tend to be ambitious at work and enjoy adhering to norms and rules. On the contrary, people with low level of conscientiousness are likely more big picture oriented and spontaneous. According to the International Personality Item Pool, each dimension of the Big Five personality traits comprises six facets or sub-traits. The facets of the conscientiousness domains are self-efficacy, the ability to accomplish things and desire to achieve and complete tasks. Self-efficacy enables one to believe that they are competent and self-controlled. Low scorers in conscientiousness might have low self-efficacy. Low self-efficacy might make them feel that their lives are out of control. Orderliness, the quality of being organized and well prepared. This facet is manifested when one enjoys making plans and following schedules and routines. Order-oriented people tend to keep things in order and organized and enjoy making and completing to-do lists. People with low levels of conscientiousness, on the other hand, tend to break rules and be disorganized. Dutifulness. Dutifulness allows one to have a strong sense of moral responsibility and contentment when following routines, regulations, or contracts. People with low levels of dutifulness view rules as being too confining and restrictive. They tend to play hard before work hard and focus more on the present moment rather than long term goals. Self discipline. It is the ability for an individual to have control and motivate himself or herself to stay on track and make progress in achieving the goals. People with high levels of self discipline have strong willpower plus an ability to be persistent on following through with tasks, even unpleasant ones. People who do not have self discipline tend to fail to self control and self motivate to continue the work they are supposed to do. Cautiousness, the tendency to think through all possible options and potential consequences of a situation before taking action. This also applies in communication, where cautiousness means choosing carefully what to say and which words to use. Cautious people are thoughtful and need more time to make decisions. Achievement striving, the tendency to work diligently to achieve success and become the top performer. People having this facet often set their goals high and would love to sacrifice their joyful presence for hard work to accomplish those goals. They are usually internally driven, ambitious, and strive for a better future. Among the six facets, achievement striving is one of the elements that is considered to be associated with career success the most. Since this facet is about setting ambitious goals and striving to achieve them, the downside is that the goals set could be too high or too risky. Also, high scorers could be considered narrow minded or overly focused. Next, let's talk about the relationship between conscientiousness and demographic, biological, and environmental factors. The interactions children have with their parents or caregivers in the early development stage can affect their personality traits later in life. A research found that children who were able to receive care and affection from their parents tend to score higher in conscientiousness. On another school of thought, other research suggested that a biological basis might also influence the level of consciousness, or it means that it being inherited through the genes of our parents. Demographic factors can also contribute to the changes in consciousness levels. Research by Van den Acker suggested that consciousness tends to increase as we grow older and acquire relatively enough social experience. Next, we will talk about the upsides of conscientiousness: lower likelihood of accident and higher empathy. In a study called the Five Factor Model in 1996, conscientious people were less likely to be involved in driving accidents than those with less conscientious personality traits. This is a direct result of conscientious people being careful, cautious, and self disciplined. Conscientious people tend to be more empathetic towards other people, since they will not take action without pondering possible options and consequences. They are rarely in a situation of inadvertently offending or upsetting other people by mistake. But what about the downsides of conscientiousness? It can lead to bureaucracy and anal personality. On the national scale, the research found that countries with higher average level of conscientiousness tend to be poorer, less democratic, and have a lower life expectancy compared to their less conscientious counterparts. Even more so, conscientiousness is to be defined as pathological. According to Sigmund Freud, the forefather of modern psychology, one group of his patients stood out from the rest. Their discerning traits were cleanliness, conscientiousness, frugality, and stubbornness, that is, an anal personality. High conscientiousness actually correlates to poorer workplace performance. Conscientiousness in practice is observing rules, focusing on the work, staying on schedule, keeping promises, and being reliable. It is only productive if the motivation comes from the inside, not from the external desire for social rewards. An over-conscientious employee can become compulsive perfectionists and workaholics. They might also be seen as being inflexible and non-adaptive. Conscientiousness in doing the wrong things only result in bureaucracy and low productivity. In short, overly conscientious people tend to spend unnecessary extra time making decisions, and the ability to improvise and prioritize is lost. These people also are prone to be exposed to be being burnt out faster than their colleagues. In conclusion, conscientiousness plays a vital role in both individual improvement and working organizations. In a working environment, these personality traits help to boost team performance and drive the team towards accomplishing the goals set. The key is to maintain a balance between conscientiousness and adaptability and innovation.